Right then, welcome back to Ask Uncle Lee, and if you do have any questions, please let me know in the comments to one of these videos, and I will add it to the list. Okay, let's get started. Welcome to my channel. You are entering the world of magic and mysticism with your host, Lee W. Johnson. Keep the lights on and help improve the channel by becoming a supporter for just $2.99 per month. Hit the join button. Okay, so first question is from Key33333. Question for the next video. Do you happen to know how to determine if a demon is reaching out to work with you? I have done so-called deity identification tarot spreads for gods like Greek or Slavic or Roman, but I don't know if it's the same for demons. Yes, it will be exactly the same. You can use exactly the same method. Again, coming back to the interpretation of the word demon itself, it's not the Christian or westernized interpretation of the word. It doesn't mean an evil spirit at all. It goes back to the Latin daemon and the Greek daimon, which were definitely not referring to evil spirits as the Christians do. So, when we talk about the demons or the daimons, a lot of them we're talking about ancient gods and goddesses. It's just a different pantheon. These are within demonology itself, and coming back to interpretation within demonology, the interpretation really is divine intelligence, and that covers all beings, all higher intelligences, all higher vibrational divine intelligences. So that's gods, goddesses, angels, all of them, okay, everything. But within demonology, there's a focus on the near Middle East. So, kind of an area that's covering sort of Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, those areas really, and obviously bringing in some chthonic spirits at the same time. So it does focus around that kind of Middle Eastern area, but also focuses on the chthonic entities. But again, not even that. There's a lot of what we would consider angelic. I mean, Lucifer, Samael, even primordial beings, Leviathan. All of these entities do come into play within demonology, but at the same time, we can consider them in some way to be chthonic. So, yeah, that's really what we're talking about when it comes to these daemons. And yes, you can use exactly the same method you have been using with tarot spreads. Other methods you can use is just reaching out to them. Ask for them to reach out to you in your dreams, for instance. It's quite a good way. If a specific demon is reaching out to you and wants to work with you because they have been, I would say, temporarily assigned to you to achieve a particular task or to teach you a particular thing, they're going to reach out to you to start that process, and therefore they'll probably start popping up in random ways. You may all of a sudden just start seeing them on social media, post after post after post, and it's uncanny. It's not kind of like, you saw a post today and you saw a post tomorrow or yesterday or the day before, and therefore wonder if it's actually this God reaching out. No, it's uncanny. It is in your face type of thing. It's not something that you end up even questioning. It's like smashing it in your face type of thing. I'm here. I want to work with you, or I need to work with you. So it becomes quite obvious. Actually, it's no question about it. So that's really probably the easiest way. And if you do just want confirmation, and again, come back to testing, you've obviously got to test the spirits to make sure that it is actually the spirit and it's not an imposter spirit of a lower vibrational entity, parasite or something like that. Test the spirit, obviously, but ask it for confirmation in dreams or in tarot readings or pendulum reading or whatever it may be, some kind of divination practice that you are used to actually using. So yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's go on to the next question. And this one I'm going to have to put over there, so I'm going to move myself across there. Alright, so this is from Arena 2D. Hi, thank you for the question. I'll just pull it up here so I can read it properly. Haley, I have question 2. Can you prevent, cure physical illness up to a certain point using magic? If so, where is the limit? Sickness and death seem natural, and I don't see anyone being immune, let alone immortal. Nonetheless, I see energy healing being offered and can imagine that we can do something, but up to what point? Is it more of a supportive nature? And what about spirits? Would they usually be willing to help, or are they more focused on emotional healing rather than the physical? Sorry for so many questions in one. Thank you for putting in all this time and effort to give us such amazing content. It's an absolute pleasure. All right, great question, actually. All right, so what can we do to cure or prevent physical ailments and illnesses within magic? So many ways. The one thing that I think is kind of vital, other people don't, obviously I think it is doing some type of energy work. And I usually go to Qigong. Other people go to yoga, some people go to Tai Chi, but some kind of energy, like a moving meditation energy type of work where you're actually getting the energy flowing through your body properly. And unblocking all of the blocks within the meridians and the channels and all of that stuff. If we think of our physical body, we have our organs, and we have our muscles, and we have our skeletal system. We also have our blood vessels, arteries, etc. But we have our nervous system as well, and we then have an energy system, which is very similar to the nervous system. But what the energy system does, it doesn't just move energy around the body for particular things like, working with the chakras and things like that, but it also moves energy to the different areas of the body and the organs that we have. So if there's a blockage within a meridian or a vessel or something like that, the energy is not flowing properly, and this can cause ailment and illness, and over time, over a long period of time, hopefully, it will cause aging and eventually death. So I won't say that somebody can make themselves immortal through these practices. There are stories, there are myths and tales and stuff of yogis and such kind of people, sages and things, who have become immortal. I haven't seen one myself, but so I don't doubt that it's a possibility, but it's quite unlikely, it's quite rare. But what you can do is prolong your life and create longevity. And that is usually done through proper management of your own energy system, of the meridians and the channels, and the vessels, and getting the energy moving and keep it moving properly. So a daily practice of Qigong, for instance, will help to do this. And if the earlier you start and you continue that through your whole life, the longer you are going to prolong your life. Start it later in life, you can actually reverse your aging. And then again, prolong your life somewhat, but not, to the extent of you are going to become immortal. So that helps with illness and health and things like that. All right, so there's that. There's the continued maintenance of the energy system in order to, maintain your life, create longevity, prevent illness and disease and all that type of stuff. What is the limit? I think probably in a normal sense, the limit would be death. At some point you are going to die. You are going to age. You are going to die. Just because you extended that life expectancy or created more longevity in your life doesn't mean you're not going to die, type of thing. Okay, so that's probably the limit there. When it comes to healing, energy healing, again, I think when it comes to energy healing, this is a complementary type of healing, and I say complementary in the sense that it complements conventional healing techniques. Going to your GP, getting a checkup, getting antibiotics, all of that stuff, then come to your energy healing as a complementary aspect to that healing. It used to be, and some people still call it, alternative healing, and that I think is wrong. It's not an alternative to conventional healing. It should be in addition to, complementary to. So bear that in mind. But what are the limits there? I don't think there are any limits. Obviously, again, death. And when it comes to more severe illnesses such as cancer, I have healed somebody with stage 1 cancer before, but at the same time I couldn't heal my father of cancer. And there's a necessity to that. Not every illness or disease is curable, and it's not supposed to be. We all have a life expectancy. There is a point when we are supposed to die. And, we then come back to the whole fate discussion and really an argument. Let's just call it the fate discussion. We are fated. Our thread of life has been cut to a certain point, and there's no getting around that. You are going to die at a certain point. So if that point is caused through an illness like cancer, there's no way you can cure that cancer. You can ease the pain, you can ease the suffering for the person, but you won't be able to cure it because they are supposed to die. That's what is supposed to happen. That's just the rule of the cosmos, rule of the universe. I suppose we can call it that. So yes, there's going to be limits. But can you cure it? Yes, you can, if it's supposed to be cured. If it's not supposed to be cured, no, you cannot, for various reasons, as I've just discussed. But you really can heal anything with energy healing, if it's supposed. Another reason why an illness may not be able to be cured at a particular time, but may be cured later, is because that person actually needs to have an experience, and that illness itself is creating part of that experience. So also bear that in mind. It doesn't mean there's something wrong. You went for energy healing, it didn't work, therefore just give up. What it means is question, do divination. Is energy healing something that should be tried again? Or is this illness something that is terminal, and therefore you trying to heal the illness itself is not something you should be doing, but trying to bring comfort, trying to relieve pain and suffering, so that the transition into that next phase becomes easier for the person. That's something you probably want to do divination for. So there's a lot of aspects to this. There's a lot of moving pieces and turning wheels and etc., and all that stuff to consider. And when it comes to spirits, exactly the same as doing actual energy healing yourself. There's no limit to it, but again, it depends on whether it's something that is terminal and is supposed to be terminal, or whether it's a lesson or I wouldn't really say a lesson, but something that the person has to experience, and this is creating the experience, and therefore it has to just be temporarily there in order to do this thing. Then again, same as energy healing, spirit isn't probably going to be able to do very much, but can possibly bring comfort. And when you're working with spirits, it can be anything from physical to emotional to mental to spiritual. Again, same thing as energy healing, really. So when we're talking about energy healing, as in some kind of shamanic healing or Reiki or something like that, hands-on energy healing or even distance healing, which is again energy healing, whatever form that's taking, the same really applies to the spirits. And in a lot of practices where energy healing is being incorporated, I mean, I've experienced it myself with Reiki, there are a lot of people call them Reiki spirits. They're kind of, or Reiki helpers that come along and just help with the Reiki itself. And it gets quite wild sometimes because, you kind of, you might be working at the head, for instance. You've got your hands on the head, and the person can feel the energy there, or feel your hands actually touching their head, but they can also feel some hands touching their legs. And I've had people question, who else came into the room while I wasn't looking, type of thing. So yeah, even there, energy healing and spirits can go in hand. But it's even Reiki, talking about energy healing, that doesn't just cover the physical. It can cover the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. When you go through your Reiki attunements, you do your lessons, and you start learning the Reiki symbols themselves. There's even aspects of healing past traumas. The actual symbols themselves can be used for healing the past itself and going into the past and healing the past. So there's a lot you can do with it, but the limit would depend on what is going on, why the illness is there, and if that illness is supposed to be there for a particular purpose, or whether it is the terminal point. It is the thing which is going to terminate the person's life, because that person's life is at the point where it needs to end. And even that's perfectly acceptable. Don't think that we can heal people, therefore nobody can die. That's absurd. Yes, we can heal people, but at the same time, death itself can often be a healing. Especially for people who are going through things, something like cancer or old age is bringing them closer and closer to death. They start to suffer, and that suffering is painful. It's terrible to actually watch. I can't imagine what it's actually like to go through. Obviously, at some stage, I'm going to go through it myself. So, in a sense, death itself can, in certain circumstances, be actual healing. So, that's when we start to come into the area of create comfort, relieve pain, and allow that passage to actually be easier than what it may have been. Okay. Anyway, I think that answers today's questions. I'm going to actually leave it there today, I think. Let me just check how long we've been on. Yes. Yeah, I'm going to leave that there, just in case I start running out of questions. Let me just move myself back over here. Okay. Right. So, as I said previously, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I don't want to run out of questions, so keep them coming, just keep them flowing. I'll just keep adding to the list and progressively go through them. Okay. So thank you for watching, thank you for the questions, and I'll see you next time. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.